So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the November 1st, 2022 meeting of the Calvert County Board of Commissioners. We don't have a pastor with us today, so I'd like to ask Commissioner Weems if he would give us an invocation, please.
Certainly, Mr. President. Let us all bow our heads. Dear Lord, as we begin this month, November, we give thanks for all you have given us. Bless this county we call home. Bless this meeting today. And thank you for all you do in our lives. Amen.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Weems. So the first item is to approve the agenda. Are there any corrections or additions to the agenda as presented?
Mr. President, I move that we approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion and a second that we approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So I do have a couple of public service announcements today. Just want to remind everybody that early voting is still going on, and you can vote until Thursday, November the 3rd from 7 to 8 p.m. There are 3 locations, one Lusby, Prince Frederick, and a Fairview Library in Owings. We also have a voting dashboard. You can go online, which is probably not as important during early voting as it will be for Election Day, and you can see if there's a wait at any of the election sites, and you can choose the time to go and you won't have to wait. And we won't be meeting next Tuesday because it is Election Day. Just want to strongly encourage everybody to make sure you get out and vote. You have lots of opportunity. There's no reason not to vote. People, men and women, have given their lives in this country, so you have the right to vote. You have an obligation and a responsibility to vote. And mail-in ballots, today is the last day to request a mail-in ballot, and you have until November the 5th to have it sent to you electronically, and a mail-in ballot must be postmarked by November the 8th. And on Election Day, we will be providing free bus transportation. If you don't have transportation, you can call and arrange to have a bus pick you up and take you to an election site. As I said, there's no reason in this county not to vote. Let me see, and Veterans Day is on November the 11th. Since we won't be meeting again ahead of next week, we just want to remind everybody, put that on your counties on November 11th. And there's usually a ceremony here at the courthouse on Veterans Day. I'm getting a nod. And what time will that be?
10:15.
10:15 in the courtyard here at the courthouse. There'll be a Veterans Day ceremony. We invite anyone that would like to attend. And I think that may be all the announcements that I have. So, the first item is, gentlemen, I need a motion to convene as the Board of Health.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to recess the meeting of the Board of County Commissioners and convene a meeting of the Calvert County Board of Health.
Second.
A motion and a second that we convene as the Calvert County Board of Health. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Commissioners. Jennifer Moreland, Director of Community Resources, and of course we have with us here Dr. Polsky from the Health Department, Beverly Barth, who's on the Safe Harbor Inc. board, and Victoria Ronan, who's also been a past member of the board. Bev is going to give a presentation today prior to the presentation, really giving you a full history of Safe Harbor Inc. and the work that it's done in this community for our domestic violence shelter. And I know we also have members of Center for Change with us in the audience, and the shelter manager, Kalisa Marsh, as well. So thank you all for coming. I'll read a brief background, and then Bev will get started. In 1991, the Board of County Commissioners established a shelter for women and children victimized by domestic violence. The shelter, now known as Safe Harbor, is administered by the Calvert County Health Department under the supervision of Center for Change. Since the shelter opened, its staff have served women and their minor children with temporary housing, counseling services, health services, case management, support groups, and referrals to community resources. In 2021, Safe Harbor provided 4,001 bed nights for 25 women and 28 children. Shelter case managers work with clients to transition them to more permanent housing. For clients in crisis or danger, staff work to move them safely to other counties. Discussion. For the past 30 years, the Safe Harbor Shelter has been supported by Safe Harbor, Inc., its nonprofit board of directors, whose advocacy and fundraising have provided furnishings and non-budgeted client items such as prescription medications, legal fees, shoes, and clothing for shelter residents. The Safe Harbor Board appreciates the Calvert County community for its generous and unwavering support over the years. Fiscal impact, none. Conclusion, it's recommended you convene as the Board of Health, which you already did. All right, thank you. Beverly, if you want to get started.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the
Good
time.
morning.
Safe Harbor, Inc. is here today to contribute $25,000 to the county for the maintenance and operation of Safe Harbor Shelter in Prince Frederick. Safe Harbor, Inc. is an all-volunteer board and was founded in August 1992 with the purpose of fundraising for Safe Harbor Shelter in Calvert County. The shelter was dedicated January 10, 1993. From the very beginning, Linda Kelly was a guiding light and energetic advocate for the shelter. We lost a dynamic lady when she passed away. The building is the old central school that housed grades 1 through 6 from 1921 to 1938. Until 1993, it had been used for various purposes by the county. Safe Harbor, Inc. raised over $450,000 to renovate and furnish the old building. We contributed over $85,000 toward daily needs for the residents, such as prescriptions, clothing, and school supplies. We raised over $500,000 to fund the addition of more bedrooms, bathrooms, rec rooms, and resident kitchen. This addition was dedicated in July 1997. Lieutenant Governor Kathleen Kennedy Townsend was present to help with the dedication. We live in a very caring and generous community. During the COVID restrictions, we were able to initiate a Valpak coupon campaign from August to December 2020. We did not recoup our investment, but we did get a lot of donors that we would not reach otherwise. In October 2020, a condominium in North Beach sponsored an outdoor concert in their courtyard. Residents watched from their individual balconies and made a very generous contribution. In December 2020, the Commission for Women organized a drive-through donation of cleaning supplies, masks, diapers, and linens. That event filled the back of 5 SUVs to be delivered to Safe Harbor. We received a very generous donation from the Nora Roberts Foundation. Nora Roberts is a best-selling New York Times author who lives in Hagerstown, Maryland. We get regular checks from Exelon, which has an employee matching program. We get regular checks from local churches throughout the year. At Christmas, we receive so many generous gifts for the women and children from church groups, service organizations, and individual citizens to make sure they have a happy holiday. We got a donation from an inmate from Jessup Correctional Institution. He lives in Lusby, but was in doing time for armed robbery of a bank in Howard County. I'm hoping his donation was not part of his crime. We received a wonderful contribution from Scout Troop 903 from Huntingtown Methodist Church. This was initiated by a request for them to clean up and mulch our memorial garden that is on the grounds of the shelter. They responded with that and offered to replace the old park benches that were in the garden, which had dry rotted. Will Newsom and Jacob McGee made 3 benches and 1 end table each for the garden and the playground area. These are sturdy, professional quality benches. Alex Ginn later offered to erect a privacy fence around the memorial garden, which was completed in one afternoon in April of 2022. The Scouts did their projects for their Eagle Scout badges. In addition to donating the material, they also donated checks to the shelter. Staff, residents, and board are very much appreciative of this donation. Just recently, the merchants at the Central Square Shopping Center raffled off a basket of merchandise from their stores and donated the proceeds of that raffle. The shelter could not run without the dedication of the on-site staff. 6 staff members have more than 15 years of employment at the shelter. These are 15 years, 18 years, 21 years, 22 years, 23 years, and 28 years. During calendar year 2021, the shelter provided 4,001 bed nights and assisted 25 women and 28 children. When you tally up 4,001 bed nights, that equals almost 11 years of shelter. Through the efforts of the county government staff, the Health Department, the State Department of Housing and Community Development, the Calvert County Center for Change, volunteers, and the generosity of the citizens of Calvert County, Safe Harbor Shelter was made possible. I can't fail to mention the fast and effective responses from the Calvert County Sheriff's Office and the Maryland State Police, who are in short distance from the shelter, especially in high alert situations. Thank you, Commissioners, and please know you have helped provide a safe home for women and children who are victims of domestic violence. Domestic violence is present in every socioeconomic level, every educational level, every ethnicity, every religion, every sector of society, in every country in the world. I would like to add that domestic violence is not limited to husband-wife, girlfriend-boyfriend, intimate partner relationships. There is also the aspect of elder abuse, where grown children are abusive to their frail elderly parents and other relatives. We are very fortunate to have Safe Harbor here in the county. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Dr. Polsky, or anything to add? Do you want to speak? No?
Well, on behalf of the Health Department, our Center for Change, I genuinely want to thank Bev for all the great work that she and Safe Harbor Inc. does on a year-to-year basis. I don't want to add too much to the comments, but I just also want to make the point that not only is Safe Harbor literally a life-saving home for families who are affected, but even in situations where there is no lethal violence, that we have children in Calvert County, across the country, who unfortunately are impacted ongoing by the really horrific acts that happen within those homes, that having a safe place for those moms and their children to come to Safe Harbor shields those children and allows time for those women to be able to find safe places to live on a more permanent basis. We have lots of partners, and Bev mentioned the Sheriff's Office, State Police, that are very active in our community. We partner with the Department of Social Services and the schools, who always accommodate that, regardless of where, if we have school-age children that come in to stay at Safe Harbor, regardless of where they go to school in the county, we're able to arrange transportation for them to stay in their routine with their friends so that we don't disrupt any more than what those children have already been through. So lots of partners, all the volunteers out in the community, we are eternally grateful to all that they do, and we are just honored to be able to play our part to help these families.
So thank you. On behalf of the board and all the citizens of Calvert County, we want to thank you for what you, the volunteers and your staff, it takes a special person to have to deal with that day in and day out. And while we all wish there was no need for Safe Harbor, the unfortunate situation is that there is a need. And the gap and the service that you provide is vital to this community and our citizens. So we want to thank you.
Thank you. And in addition, it's operated 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. So because of that use, we often have to replace furniture, curtains, appliances, kitchenware. So the donations go toward maintenance and upkeep of the shelter.
And we also want to thank those businesses and citizens out there that donate to the cause, because as you mentioned, without those resources, you couldn't operate the way you do. And if you have needs, don't hesitate to come and ask. We'll always do what we can to help.
We have a very generous and caring community, really.
We do. And it's because of people like you, it makes us what we are. So we greatly thank what you and all your other volunteers do for us. So I think we have a photo to take and a check.
Big check.
Big check.
Yeah. Over here, cool. Okay, so let's scooch in slightly. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Thank you.
So before y'all rush off, the county administrator's telling me that we've had a pretty good year in Calvert County, and I think that I could suggest to the other commissioners that we might have $10,000 laying around that we could donate.
Mr. President, I'll make that motion.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second that we donate $10,000 to Safe Harbor. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
It's not laying around, ladies and gentlemen. We are very tight on the budget. We're going to take it from somebody else.
No, there's actually bags of cash in a room over there. It's just not assigned anywhere. We just don't know what to do with it, just these huge bags of cash. So, every once in a while Mark goes in there and finds some,
So
That's Dr. Polsky's budget, so we're good.
Oh, by the
And I
way,
wanna-
you didn't catch that part, Dr. Polsky?
I want to thank you all very much. As society continues to transition, I mentioned that for children, we want to make sure they're not disrupted with their education, that we've upgraded our technical infrastructure, including for children to be able to remote in, and so much homework, even now that we are hopefully permanently back to in-person, that so much homework is online, that children be able to access, every child who is staying at the shelter being able to access via the internet is critical for their education. So the extra money will help us to continue to upgrade and make sure that these, the children there are properly cared for. So thank you all very, very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good day. So I need a motion, Commissioner Weems.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting of the Calvert County Board of Health and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners. Second.
I have a motion and a second that we adjourn our meeting as Calvert County Board of Health and we reconvene as Calvert County Board of Commissioners. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. So the next item on the agenda is an award.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Lorraine Joyner, Executive Administrative Assistant for the Department of Community Resources, here today as Awards Coordinator for the Employee Recognition Committee, and also as this Calvert County Government Staff Liaison for the Veterans Affairs Commission. I'm here to support their efforts, but you'll hear more about that later on in the agenda. I'm here today to introduce Calvert County Government's October 2022 Employee of the Month. The Employee of the Month Award, as you probably all remember, acknowledges individual excellence for superior job performance or special individual efforts in the following areas: effectiveness of public contact, respect for fellow employees, quality and/or quantity of work, contributions towards improving organizational morale, and actions that improve the county's public image. Anyone can nominate a coworker for this award. Please check out the ERC webpage on the county intranet for more information. Our October 2022 Employee of the Month is, wait for it, Katie Britton. Katie is the Communications Program Specialist for Communications and Media Relations. Katie, can you please join me at the mic? Katie, where are you? Come on down. All right. All right. Just briefly, over the summer of 2022, Katie volunteered to assist in the county administrator's office while there were staff vacancies and staff was on extended leave. No one asked her to cover the office. She recognized that they were spread thin and offered to help. Katie effectively handled her duties in the Division of Communications and Media Relations as a communications program specialist while taking on additional responsibilities in the county administrator's office. Positive mindset, can-do attitude, and amazing work ethic is the norm for Katie. This stellar employee makes a huge difference in team morale. The ERC is delighted to join the Board of County Commissioners in recognizing this remarkable coworker. Thank you, Katie, for all you do. A big thanks to the County Administrator's Office for taking the time to submit this nomination. Thank you, Commissioners, for your continued support of the Employee Recognition Committee and for partnering with us to recognize Calvert County government's truly remarkable workforce. Katie, you can join the Commissioners up front, and I believe there are other people that want to weigh in. Away.
Is anybody else out there? Linda, wake up.
Katie, I
morning,
do have a couple of
Commissioners.
questions for you when Linda's done.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Vasallo, Deputy County Administrator. And I'm so sorry that I can't be there in person today, but just briefly, I just wanted to thank Katie. This kind of performance for her is the norm, and she always willingly jumps in when needed and recognizes voids. I've known and worked with Katie for about 12 years, and I am just so proud to be a coworker and really proud of her work. I just wanted to say thank you this morning, and that's it.
All right, Katie, thank you so much for what you've done in the Commissioner's office over the last months and months. But I want you to take this opportunity to give some shameless plugs for all of your different social media efforts throughout the county. So here, tell us all about it.
Well, I was just going to say, so I work in communications. I do marketing for the county and run as a team the social media, which we have 15 accounts. We have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and I'm honored. I'm glad to be a part of the team and to help out the citizens within Calvert County.
Fantastic. So if you do anything on social media, make sure you follow Calvert County government because it's people like this that are right behind all of it. So thank you. And here is a certificate. Do you want to have anybody come up to get pictures with you? Do you have anybody here in the family with you?
Somebody want to say something?
Or anybody else? Go ahead.
We have more to say. So, Katie, we thank you.
Who are you?
Saved us.
Who are you?
I am Ruthie Buckler, and I work for the County Administrator's Office. We thank you for everything you did for us this summer. We were in a bind, and you came in like you had always been there, brought that positive energy that you always have to our office, and we cannot thank you enough.
Go ahead.
All right, my name's Sarah Eamon. I'm the Public Information Program Manager with Communications and Media Relations, and I have the honor of being Katie's direct supervisor. And to echo Linda, this is just one example of Katie's continuous drive to excel in everything she does. You can see she radiates passion for the work, but also compassion for people. And it's clear in everything that she does every day, she genuinely just wants to see the citizens and the commissioners and her teammates succeed. Katie, we are so proud and honored to be your teammates. And thank you for inspiring us every day with your spirit of service, your integrity, your energy, and your heart. Congratulations. Thank you.
So Katie stepped in this summer, and it's not easy to step in and wait on 5 of us. But Katie did that as seamless as it could be done, and I want to recognize her parents, who I think are in the back, Bert and Danny Baker, for giving us such a wonderful employee.
Mr. President, we do have one more speaker.
Oh, we do have another one.
Mommy is a cute little girl.
Thank you. Come up and get a picture. And come up right now. Everybody come up and
All right.
get a picture.
I will add while they're all forming that the only thing that we had to do with Katie coming into the office is to cut back her caffeine level. People think I can talk a lot. I'm an amateur when it comes to Katie.
I could add to that, Kevin Schmidt, broadcast manager. Katie is so good at her job, she often tries to do hours as well. Thank you, Katie.
Isn't there a Katie 411?
There is.
What is Katie 411?
Brand Ambassador Katie 411 is in development.
And that is going to be debuted on?
All over the place.
please. You have oh, wow. Here you go. This is her time.
As Katie was growing up, her nickname was Cornfield because she had more ears than a cornfield. She was listening to everybody's conversations.
It all makes sense. It all makes sense. Okay, here we go. Smile on three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Congratulations, Katie.
Bye-bye, guys.
Hey, bye, Steve. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
Are you ready? Okay, that's great. Great.
So the next item on the agenda is proclamations, and we have a long list of proclamations today. The first one is for Family Court Awareness Month. Commissioner Hart?
Thank you, Mr. President.
And I think we have the state's attorney in the audience.
Well, I'm not the recipient.
You are now. Good morning.
Stand here.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
Forgive me for my nerves.
No, you're fine. There's nobody here but us.
Thank you for proclaiming November Family Court Awareness Month. My name is Jessica. I'm a Calvert County mom to 2 children in the county and a safety advocate bringing awareness on serious child safety issues that are happening in our family court system. I entered the court system a couple years ago after a domestic violence issue that resulted in a protective order. I ended up in the family court system dealing with issues related to child safety, and I had no idea how hard it would be to protect my children. Family court rulings are widely based on a parent getting a fair share of parenting time with their child. Even more important than the safety of the child with that parent. Child protection is viewed as the job of social services, but family courts are ruling on cases with child abuse concerns every day. Most would be shocked to know that in many states, family court judges on the bench are making rulings that impact children's lives and have 0 mandated training hours in childhood trauma, child emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, coercive control, and domestic violence. Sadly, in many states, barbers, beauticians are mandated to have more domestic violence training than its judges. Here are some saddening but related statistics. 1 in 15 children are victims of child abuse, usually by a family or parent. 75% is perpetrated by a family member or a person known to that child. Family members are almost half of the perpetrators of the crimes against children and sexual assault victims younger than 6 years of age. More than 50% of the time when an allegation of child abuse is raised, the courts are switching physical custody to the alleged abuser. A child's exposure to an abuser is among the strongest indicators of risk of incest victimization. Abusive parents are more likely to seek sole custody than non-violent ones, and they are successful about 70% of the time. Domestic violence often worsens after separation or divorce, with the focus turning to the children, with up to 60% of perpetrators who abuse their spouse will abuse their children. Domestic violence is about power and control. The desire to maintain power and control doesn't mysteriously vanish once the relationship ends. The family court system becomes a new and highly effective platform for abusers. And those abusers know how to manipulate untrained judges. Our primary goal this year is to shine a spotlight for the need for mandated training for judges and family court professionals who are ruling on these cases with child safety and domestic violence concerns every day. Our children's lives are literally dependent on the courts to become educated on these issues. It means the world to not only me and my children, but to all the parents here in Calvert County who have family court cases. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. State's Attorney.
Good morning, I'm Bob Harvey, I'm Calvert County State's Attorney. It's very difficult to say any more than what was just said. Domestic violence remains a real problem in our county. I know that last fiscal year we prosecuted 271 cases of domestic violence. I don't know how anyone could not support an effort to further the education of our judges and our court professionals. So I fully support that. Just want to say thank you very much for your kind words and comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? So, because these things are so personal, I'm going to try to leave it kind of vague. Everything you said is so spot on. So I'm going to tell you a quick story, as quick as I know how to do it. So, growing up here, everybody knows everybody. But as we've gotten bigger, you don't know folks as the way you used to. So my wife had a young lady come to her, and she had an abuse situation. It doesn't just happen, as we know. It's not just a one-time thing. These things go for years. And so she came to my wife. My wife didn't know what to do. She came to me. Well, I called Jennifer. And Jennifer, of course, worked the network of the things we do and all the amazing people. And the letter that she wrote to my wife said, "Thank you. That was my first day of freedom." I've known this person over 20 years. No clue what was going on in that home, as most of us don't know. Know the children and everything. But that statement, my first day of freedom, I mean, just what you take for granted every day of coming home to a quiet home, a loving home, that, you expect when you go out in the world, somebody cuts you off driving, somebody, but when you get home, it's got to be safe. And if it's not safe there, and when you said with children, that scar never goes away. I mean, it's why they call it a scar. It never goes away. And if you've ever been close to anything like that, or you know exactly what I'm talking about, and it's just amazing to me, it's like you said, it's family. You're supposed to love these people. I mean, that's what's amazing. You're supposed to love these people. These are your family, your friends. You're supposed to love it, and how someone, and to continue in doing it. I will never understand it. Every year we talk about this, and the numbers grow. I will never understand it. I hope whatever it takes, whether it's education with judges, whether, I don't know how these people look themselves in the mirror, and then if they can't be corrected, there has to be something to correct it, but it's something that cannot continue, because unfortunately, and as you know, sometimes it keeps going, because that's how the person was exposed to so much. They don't know another way. And so it's, sorry for the soapbox like thing, but it is just such an issue that just every year we're talking about it. And I'll just be so glad, as Commissioner Hand said, we don't talk about it anymore.
Commissioner Hart, I just wanted to also mention, because I don't think it's been shared publicly.
Who are you?
Jennifer Moreland, Director of Community Resources. Thank you for reminding me who I am. This past year, we do a non-county agency funding process every year for nonprofits in our community. Southern Maryland Center for Family Advocates reached out to us last year and said that we did not have a family law attorney, a nonprofit attorney. And so I worked closely with them. We put the ask to all of you, and then you funded that position, and now we have that for our community. That's going to make a huge difference for these cases, and hopefully we won't have those same situations, because they'll have an attorney on their side that can support them no matter what their income level is. So thank you.
And Jennifer, what's your phone number?
410-535-1600, and our office is extension 8803. And you'll get Lorraine. But she's really great at directing resources.
So if you're out there and you're in a situation, there's help.
That's absolutely right. So please contact our office. Thank you.
Just make the call.
All right, well, I'm going to read this proclamation, and it says, whereas the mission of the Family Court Awareness Month Committee, FCAMC, is to increase awareness on the importance of a family court system that prioritizes child safety and acts in the best interest of children. And whereas the FCAMC is fueled by the need to increase awareness and facilitate change in the family court system for the estimated 58,000 children per year who are ordered into unsupervised contact with physically or sexually abusive parents, while honoring the hundreds of children who have been reported as murdered during visitation and dangerous parents. And whereas the mission of the FCAMC is to increase awareness on the importance of based education and training on domestic violence, childhood trauma, child sexual abuse, control, post-separation abuse for all professionals working on cases within the family court system. And where the FCAMC is dedicated to educating judges and other family court professionals on evidence-based, peer-reviewed research, which is a critical component to making decisions that are truly in the best interest of children. This research includes the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study, the Child Custody Evaluator's Belief About Domestic Abuse Allegations Report, and the Child Custody Outcomes in Cases Involving Parental Alienation and Abuse Allegations Report. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Calvert County that November 2022 be recognized as Family Court Awareness Month. Be it further proclaimed that we express our utmost respect to the family court system and encourage all citizens to increase awareness of the importance of using scientifically valid, evidence-based treatment programs and services within the family court system that are proven to aid in the safety of our children, given under our hands and seal this first day of November 2022, signed by all 5 commissioners.
So the next proclamation is National Veteran Small Business Appreciation Week. Commissioner Gadway.
Thank you, President Hans. That last presentation was tough, but the positive outcome behind that is we recognize what needs to be done. We work toward that. So transitioning to new proclamation, we have veteran small business owners that are in the audience, correct? Would you like to please come up and introduce yourself? Oh, I'm sorry, Julie, you go ahead and start.
Okay, no problem. All right, thank you, Commissioner. My name is Julie Oberg. I'm the Director of Economic Development here in Calvert County. Thank you for the opportunity to be here with you today to recognize National Veteran Small Business Week. In partnership with the Veterans Affairs Commission and the Communications and Media Relations team in Calvert County, we did outreach to identify veteran-owned businesses in the county. And this week, we are highlighting some of those businesses with videos and social media spotlights, and you can check those all out at choosecalvert.com/grant. I'm sorry, that's a different one. choosecalvert.com/veteran. We have several people here today to accept the proclamations from the business community as well as the Veterans Affairs Commission, and I'd like to invite them to come up to introduce themselves. I'd also like to invite full members of my team that are here today who were instrumental in making this project happen. And as everyone comes forward, I would just like to take a moment to publicly thank all of our veteran-owned businesses for their service to our country, as well as choosing Calvert to be home to their businesses. So with that, please come forward. Come on up. Dr. Temple, you might as well go, and you can go first. There you go. Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Al Kincaid, and I'm the president of Valor Construction and Valor Home. We have a location, my office is in Calvert County, the first office. We have one in Annapolis, one in Virginia, and also one in Delaware. 5 years ago, Valor started a program called Operation Raise the Roof. What we do, and what we have done over the past 5 years, is every quarter we give a free roof to a disabled veteran, also to a Gold Star mom, which is a parent of a deceased veteran who died in action. Our goal for this year is to move that from 4 a year to 1 a month. As of 5 months ago, we've become a 501c3 organization, so now we are a charitable organization, and as funds allow, we will continue to do what we do. As of today, Valor has financed all 21 roofs that we have done. Hopefully that will change. Valor will always be involved with Operation Raise the Roof because it's part of who Valor is. But I just wish to thank all the commissioners for allowing me to speak today, for allowing me to be here, and thank you very much for recognizing veteran-owned small businesses.
Thank you, Al. Come on up.
And Mr. Kincaid is one of our stars of one of our videos as well. So you can learn more about them online.
And he's got great radio ads.
My name is Patricia McCoy. I do not have a business here in Calvert County, but I am a proud Vietnam-era veteran of the United States Navy and a proud member of the Veterans Affairs Commission for Calvert County.
Good morning. I'm Dave Vollmer. I own JF Marine in Prince Frederick, and I own Reliable Marine in Solomons. Proud to be a veteran and happy to be here and appreciate the recognition.
You did a great job for me. Thank you, Dave.
And I just got an engine from you guys. You guys did some phenomenal work. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And Dave is also a video star.
Good morning. My name is Jeff King. I am the Vice Chair of your Calvert County Veteran Affairs Commission and also a proud business owner here in the county. Just want to say thank you. A lot of this is about awareness, and a lot of this is about saying thanks in this particular community. So I want to say thank you to all of you for the recognition and to all of our service members and their sacrifices. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Grace Fadley. I'm Business Programs Assistant with Economic Development, and it's been an honor to work with all the veterans in the small business community. So thank you so much.
Real quick, we didn't catch Jeff. What's your business?
The business is Varium.
Varium, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Sheba Smith, Deputy Director with the Economic Development Department, and just truly excited to be a part of this effort. Thank you all for your service to this nation and your continued service to our county.
My name is Michael Sweeney, member of the Veterans Affairs Commission, and thank you, Valor, for taking the time and the expense to help a veteran. Appreciate it, man.
As a veteran myself and a business owner myself, I can appreciate what you fellow veteran small business owners do. Veterans have a tendency to have specialized training, to have specialized leadership through the military, and it seems that every time I look over and I see a veteran-owned business, that shines through in so many different ways. Most veteran small business owners are charitable. They're here to serve the community just as they serve their country. And it shines through with their business models and their business practices and the way they treat their employees and their customers and everyone else. So dealing with a small business that's veteran-owned, it does great things throughout the community. It does great things to the customers. They really appreciate it. So, whereas nearly 1 in 10 small businesses across the United States are veteran-owned, from Main Street storefronts to virtual high-tech startups that advance America. Veteran-owned small businesses are a pillar of our economy and contribute to the foundation of our nation. Whereas veteran entrepreneurs have energy, skills, and discipline further developed by their military service, along with a selfless commitment to our community and country, and focused passion for what they do. And whereas, when we pledge to strengthen our communities, we must recognize, empower, and support the veteran-owned businesses throughout our economy. And whereas, National Veteran Small Business Week highlights the programs and services available to veteran entrepreneurs through the United States Small Business Administration and other resource partners. And whereas, Calvert County government supports and joins in this national effort to help America's veteran-owned small businesses rebuild and recover from the COVID-19 pandemic and ensure that our communities remain prosperous. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Calvert County that the week of October 31st, 2022 through November 4th, 2022 be known as National Veteran Small Business Week. Be it further proclaimed that we urge and encourage all citizens to learn more about Calvert County's veteran entrepreneurs and how we can support them on their continued path to success. Given under our hands and seal this first day of November 2022, signed by all commissioners. Thank you for all that you do for our community and our nation.
Yeah, everybody scooch in, please. Yes, truly, it's scooch.
Step behind, or are you good in there?
Did you scooch?
Where's your scooch? Okay, everyone find the lens. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all so much for what you do. Thank you for your service. Thank you very much.
Did they go well?
So the next proclamation is for Operation Green Light. It also involves the Veterans Advisory Commission. Commissioner Kelly McConkey.
Brandon, do you want to say a few words?
Absolutely. First, I want to thank all the commissioners and the county administration for your unyielding support for the over 7,300 veterans in our county. Over a year ago, you helped create this commission, and your support has been key to any success we've been able to have. And that support continues as we look to celebrate Operation Greenlight nationwide. And for those of you who don't know what Operation Greenlight is, it is a nationwide movement to light our homes, our businesses, our towns, our counties, our state, and our country green from November 7th to November 13th to highlight and raise awareness of veterans' issues. And in this state alone, they're lighting things like the governor's mansion will be lit green. Right? M&T Stadium, where the Ravens play, will be lit green. World Trade Center in Baltimore will be lit green. And counties across this state and across this country are turning green to raise awareness for veterans' issues. And these aren't just issues that we typically hear about, the things that we really focus in on, like veteran suicide, unemployment, mental health, medical. It's also for veterans in the state who otherwise are doing well or getting out of the military and want to retire here, they want to buy a home here and raise a family here. Right? But there's barriers to entry here because of cost of living and other things. So it's raising awareness for those folks in Maryland to see if we can get people to transition and get to come back home and live in Maryland after they leave military service and to retire here. So it's raising awareness across the board, across this whole country. And just the last thing, for everybody here, put a green light bulb. It's as simple as that, right? In your porch light. And for your early Christmas decorators, you'll be ahead of the game. Okay? So those green lights will go far. Put it in your porch if you have a business, light your business up green, and now the county commissioners are going to be here to light up our county green and light up the state green so we can raise awareness for veterans issues. So thank you for your support. And please, everybody out there online, participate in Operation Greenlight. Thank you.
Sure.
Pat, did you want to say anything?
No, sir.
Well, we definitely thank y'all for what you're doing. I'm very glad that this board put this commission together, and you guys are doing a fantastic job. You're making a huge difference in the community, and we can't thank you enough. if you guys want to come up and I'll read his proclamation. You guys should have just stayed up here. Right. Right. You gotta scooch.
That's the Air Force.
Oh. Come on up. All right, whereas the residents of Calvert County have great respect, admiration, and gratitude for those who have selfishly served our country and this community in the armed forces, while recognizing that the contributions and sacrifices of these men and women have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legion, veterans of foreign wars, religious and civil service groups, and by functioning as county veterans service officers in 29 states to help follow former service members access more than $52 billion in federal funds for health, disability, and compensation benefits each year. And whereas each year approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities, and there is projected to be an estimated 20% increase in the number of service members transitioning to civilian life in the near future. And whereas studies indicate that 44 to 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during transition from military to civilian life, with a high risk for suicide during their first year after military service. And whereas the National Association of Counties and the National Association of County Veteran Service Officers encourages all counties, parishes, and boroughs to join Operation Green Light to let veterans know that they are seen, appreciated, and supported by displaying a green light in a window of their place of business or residence from November 7th, 2022 through November 13th, 2022. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Calvert County that the Calvert County is a designated as green light for Veterans County. Be it further proclaimed that in observance of Operation Green Light, Calvert County encourages its citizens to salute and honor the service and sacrifice of our men and women in uniform transitioning to active service, given under our hands and seal this first day of November 2022.
You can stay there. We come down there, it's going to be a crowd.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Again, thank you all for what you do.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's-
Well, this is going to be his seat, so.
So the next proclamation on the agenda is for National Animal Shelter Awareness Appreciation Week. Commissioner Hart.
My favorite place in the county. Do we have somebody to talk about it? I see a special guest there.
Meow.
What's that baby's name?
This is Boston. Boston's 11 years old.
Bring Boston up here. Come here, Boston. I've been checking you out over there being such a good boy.
Oh, you can take him home.
I got 3. Come here, baby.
Oh, well, what's one
Come
more?
here, baby.
Meow.
Yes.
Meow.
Oh, I know. Yes. You've been so good. I've been watching you over there. Yes, being such a good boy. Oh, you want some soup? You want some soup?
Good morning, Commissioners. Crystal Dowd, Deputy Director of Public Safety. I oversee the operations for the animal shelter. I just want to thank all of our animal shelter attendants, our care staff, and our animal health techs, and even our adoption and volunteer rescue. This past year, we've already had over 1,000 positive live outcomes for animals that have come through our shelter, almost 600 adoptions. Every day, it seems like we're just seeing the same animals. Here's one example right here. Many of our animals come through the shelter so quickly, they get adopted, but then we have our long-term residents like Boston And he's such a sweet dog, and we were very fortunate enough to have a sponsorship from Friends of the Linda L. Kelly Animal Shelter as well. They're donating $700 towards his adoption, and also through vet care, because he is a senior pet, so to get him over through the vet cost and get him set up in a new home. But again, none of this would be possible without the dedicated employees of the animal shelter, and I'm thankful for them every single day.
And you have something going on now, right? Promotion?
Yes, we do have an adoption promotion going on. Our adoption rates are 50% off to encourage adoptions through Thanksgiving.
Do you notice a big increase in adoptions when we do waive the fees and those types of things?
Yes, we do. We often request for the fees to be waived or reduced when we are experiencing crowding at the shelter, like a influx of population, and it does help us to place some of the animals.
Mr. Hardy's a quiet dog, unlike your other dogs.
I know.
And you do have cats also, correct? Not just dogs?
Snakes.
Yeah, come on down there. Anybody? Yes, please.
It's Mike call Carolyn. Mike's bringing another dog home.
Yep. What's that, Commissioner?
So I call Carolyn. You're bringing another dog home.
Oh, I know. I know.
Oh, and I forgot to mention that since we have a veterinarian now, we did get awarded over $11,000 for spay-neuter from the state of Maryland.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. So as
I
many
think I
of
started
you
that program when I was at the state.
might not know,
Yeah.
you know the old expression, Rome wasn't built in a day. So the animal shelter is very near and dear to my heart, as they all know. They know so it was, when I first got on the board, so many things I still don't know, but I didn't know that we had no place really for animals to go, and no disrespect to Tri-County Animal Shelter, but the facility's very old. It couldn't handle what was going on, and boy, there's a long, you could do hours on how this thing came about. It was really so many people from the community and the board and everybody to put this together. And Linda Kelly, I remember we had a presentation, and I had asked a question about how many animals had got put down, and boy, she came in the next week full of fire, and she says, "Let me tell you something, Mike Hart, blah blah blah." And boy, we had a long discussion. Well, with all that, all of a sudden, we said, "Hey, we got to do something about this. We have to put a shelter together." St. Mary's, I believe, and I don't want to speak for them, I think they're in the talks. Them and Charles County are trying to do their own. But we couldn't wait. We looked at that shelter, we couldn't wait, and people would say, "Mike, this animal's being abused, you got to do something." I'm like, "Okay, great. Let's send SEAL Team 6 down there, let's kick down the door, let's grab that animal, and take them where?" There was no place to go. I mean, Tri-County just couldn't handle it. And from where we were then to where we are today, as Crystal said, we have our own vet. Could you imagine being hurt, going to the hospital and say, "Well, we just don't have doctors today, but we have them on Wednesday. So I know your arm's laying on Route 4, but we'll sew it back on Wednesday." I mean, and that's really how it was viewed, We have our own vet, we have a generator. If, God forbid, we get a natural disaster, we're able to take, you're trying to relocate where you're going. Sometimes you can't bring your pets. Well, we can handle that. I mean, we've done so far from where we were to even animal laws. John works on committees. Jackie Vaughn's not here, and I'll tell you what, you talk about a superstar right there. Jackie Vaughn, and with her and Crystal and the whole team, I mean, so many people is where we're at today. And, I mean, look at that baby right there. How can you not? Mr. Hitch, you said you only have one, right? See, me and we have three. I mean, look at that face. Look at that face.
I'll drop him off at your house.
Buddy's the only one that can take him home today.
I'll drop him off at your house.
And I've never understood how anybody can harm an animal. I mean, you talk about they ask nothing. You know, it's just, and I tell you, talk about stress reliever, sometimes I rub the fur off my dog. I'm sitting there going, I know they're talking bad about me today. They didn't like that decision today. We don't care, do we, Bishop? That's right. That's right. Here, my buddy. You know, I mean, how he's got any fur left on him sometimes, I don't know. So,
Courthouse closes at 4:30, Mike.
oh, yeah. So, let me shut up, and I will read this. And it says, whereas the Animal Shelter Division of Calvert County at Linda L. Kelly Animal Shelter provides professional and compassionate services for animals. Through these services, they offer an opportunity for stray and unwanted animals to become vaccinated, microchipped, and spayed and neutered in a safe, caring environment to improve their quality of life and make them ready for adoption. And whereas the Linda L. Kelly Animal Shelter provides a coordinated program of services including fostering, rescue, partnerships, volunteering, and other activities designed to enhance collaboration with the community. And whereas the Humane Society of the United States has designated November 6th through 12th, 2022 as National Animal Shelter Appreciation Week. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Calvert County that the week of November 6th through 12th, 2022 will be known as Animal Shelter Appreciation Week in Calvert County. Be it further proclaimed that the... Was that him?
No.
All citizens are encouraged to honor and celebrate this week and join us in showing appreciation to the staff and volunteers that work tirelessly to rescue and assist animals given under our hands and seal this first day of November 22nd, signed by all 5 commissioners.
Mike, you sit with the dog.
Oh, I know. I know.
She was talking to you.
He's a good boy.
Mike, sit.
Right? Roll over. Did you guys ever adopt, what was it, Rocky?
Rocky went to Humane Society of Carroll.
He's a sweet boy. Hopefully, yeah.
Cool.
On 3, everybody say meow.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
You make a weird noise so the dog looks at you like...
I think I got him on that one actually. Here we go. We'll do one more. Weird noise. Ready?
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
That's how we get it. That's how we get it.
Did that do it?
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Who follows up that?
Do you want me to walk him back there and...
Hart's truck is parked right out back.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys have a courtroom cat.
We do. We need a commissioner cat. Yes. Right. Commissioner cat. We already have some, but right.
Yeah, but they'll like you. They'll bite Julian.
Well, my own dog likes Julian. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are a good boy. There you do. You gotta know. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right, we gotta go.
Hope he gets a treat when he gets
Go
back.
this way.
So the next proclamation is National Family Caregivers Month. Commissioner Weems.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Hello.
Ma'am,
everyone.
hello.
Hi.
Please.
My name is Lisa Cottle. I'm the long-term care manager at the Office on Aging. I oversee our case management programs, including the National Caregivers program. This is Terry Gunkel. She is our senior care case manager. So she also helps a lot of our caregivers in our county. And I do want to say that we have seen an increased need in our caregivers since COVID with the national nursing assistant shortage. A lot of our caregivers have had to quit their jobs to take care of their loved ones, which has been a big sacrifice for them. So we provide information and resources as well as a small caregivers grant to our caregivers once a year. Anything that we can do to help them out, we are happy to do. So thank you.
Thank you.
Please come forward. I'll read the proclamation. Oh, Mr. Ed, sir, please.
Commissioners, thank you. Ed Sullivan, Division Chief, Calvert County Office on Aging. Just want to commend Lisa and her team for the great work that they do. You're going to read, Commissioner Weems, in a moment, the theme for the month is Caregiving Happens. And while it can happen to anyone at any time, it doesn't just happen unless someone takes the initiative to get it done. So we do commend the caregivers in our county, as I know you do as well, and we thank you, commissioners, for your recognition and taking a few moments to recognize the caregivers. So thank you for your support of the Office on Aging, because of your support of us, we can support the seniors in our county. We thank you very much. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Whereas National Family Caregivers Month is celebrated every November and is spearheaded by the Caregiver Action Network to recognize the over 90 million family caregivers in this country. And whereas family caregivers are recognized as devoted individuals, offering endless hours of care and support to loved ones in their homes and communities with the sole purpose of sustaining quality of life. And whereas Caregiving Happens is this year's theme, which recognizes that caregiving is not always convenient or expected and often interferes with normal daily routines. Caregivers selflessly spend countless hours to provide care for older adults who are friends and loved ones. And whereas the Calvert County Office on Aging continues to offer assistance and support through limited caregiver grants for respite, monthly drop-in support, medical equipment, assistive technology devices, and links to community programs. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Calvert County that the month of November 2022 be known as National Family Caregivers Month in Calvert County, recognizing caregivers for the devotion, dedication, and support they provide to their family members and loved ones. Be it further proclaimed that the appreciation of all Calvert County citizens is hereby extended to all family caregivers for their efforts. Given under our hands and seal this first day of November 2022. Thank you so much, ladies.
Can I get you all to scoot this over, please? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much.
So the last proclamation that we have today is for Hospice and Palliative Care Month. Commissioner McConkey.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Mike Brady, and I represent Hospice of the Chesapeake as well as Calvert Hospice. And we do have a short presentation coming up, so we can proceed with the proclamation.
Okay, come on up. Anybody else want to speak?
Introduce yourselves.
I'm Shauna Shebo. I'm Chief Advancement Officer with Hospice of the Chesapeake. Thank you.
Claire Pisen, and I'm with Calvert Hospice, Donor Relations.
Amanda Peterson, Communications and Volunteer Manager.
All right, you want to come up?
I'm just here for photos.
Okay. All right, I'll read this proclamation. Whereas for more than 40 years, hospice has helped provide comfort and dignity to millions of people, allowing them to spend their final months at home surrounded by their loved ones. And whereas the hospice model involves a team-oriented approach to treatment, including expert medical care, quality symptom control, and comprehensive pain management as a foundation of care. And whereas beyond providing physical treatment, hospice attends to the patient's emotional, spiritual, and family needs and provides family services like respite care and bereavement counseling. Whereas palliative care delivers expertise to improve quality of life and relief from pain, which can be provided at any time during an illness. Hospice is known as one of the best providers of the community-based palliative care. And whereas hospice and palliative care organizations are advocates and educators for advanced care planning that help individuals make decisions about the care they want. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners that the month of November 2022 be known as Hospice and Palliative Care Month in Calvert County. Be it further proclaimed that all citizens are encouraged to increase their understanding and awareness of the end-of-life care, discuss their end-of-life wishes with their families, and observe this month with appropriate activities and programs given under our hands and seals this first day of November 2022.
One more.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Thank you.
Good seeing you, Mike. Thank you. Thank you.
So Mike, if you all want to have a seat and proceed with the presentation.
Commissioners, Jennifer Moreland, Director of Community Resources. So pleased to have Mike Brady, the CEO with Hospice of the Chesapeake here. He's going to give some background on their recent merger with Calvert Hospice and talk about the Burnett House as well. And so, you know, we've been involved in assisting with some inspections at the Burnett House. And I'm here if you have any questions in related to that. And I think Tom Jones may be on the line as well. Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners, thank you for providing me the opportunity today to update you on the acquisition of Calvert Hospice by Hospice of the Chesapeake. As mentioned, my name is Mike Brady. I have the honor and the privilege of serving as the CEO for Hospice of the Chesapeake. As many of you may know, in early 2022, Calvert Hospice's Executive Director, Sarah Simmons, as well as their board of directors, made a very thoughtful and necessary decision to explore the possibility of merging or partnering with another like-minded hospice agency. They recognize that small, independent hospices like Calvert Hospice struggle to operate in a rapidly changing and ever-evolving hospice care industry. It had been evident for some time that many hospice agencies throughout the country that were smaller in size, that their best possible future for their organization was to join with other like-minded, not-for-profit hospice agencies to weather an uncertain future. And following many months of discussion, their board of directors ultimately decided that Calvert Hospice be acquired by Hospice of the Chesapeake. And when we use an acquisition in a nonprofit sense, there's no money involved. It's just joining of two organizations. I applaud their board for this difficult but thoughtful decision. This was a decision about the future, not necessarily a decision about today. They understood the hard reality of the current healthcare environment that we operate in. We finalized our agreement with Calvert Hospice this past June. We believe then, as we do now, that by joining our forces, our combined organizations will enhance the strength and stability of care provided to Calvert County residents. A little history about Hospice of the Chesapeake. Hospice of the Chesapeake was founded in 1979 in Anne Arundel County with very similar roots in our local community. Today, we serve over 650 hospice care patients every day and close to 1,200 palliative or supportive care patients, and provide grief support to clients and families now across 4 counties: Anne Arundel, Charles, Prince George's, and Calvert. We employ a team of close to 360 members and offer care options for more than 1.7 million residents across these 4 counties. Hospice of the Chesapeake is the largest independent, community-based, not-for-profit hospice and palliative care organization within the state of Maryland. While our scope and size has changed dramatically since 1979, we are still guided by our core mission of caring for life throughout the journey with illness and loss. Our first year, 1979, our original founding volunteers cared for just 4 patients and their families. 43 years later, I sit before you incredibly grateful for our opportunity to join with Calvert Hospice. We did, as we did with Hospice of Charles County back in 2020, and further expand and enhance the care provided to those patients and families who need it. Today, we live in a time where we have access and advanced healthcare organizations, newly developed treatments, and uniquely designed medications which ultimately allow us to live much longer with illness. These advances have changed the landscape of healthcare and have allowed so many families many more years together than they would have had 40 years ago. Consequently, this means living with advanced illness for decades, whether it is congestive heart failure, pulmonary disease, dementia, or cancer. Families need support now more than ever. Calvert Hospice has cared for this community with the highest quality of care and grace since the early 80s. At no time during the COVID-19 pandemic did Calvert Hospice or Hospice of the Chesapeake turn away a family who needed care. Just the opposite, our teams never wavered from supporting those facing the end of life and supporting the family after their loss. Today, while we still are experiencing the impact of the global pandemic, our goals remain the same: to expand and enhance the care foundations available to those who need us. We're focused in several key areas: the integration from our clinical and IT perspective between our 2 organizations, improving access to care and increasing the admissions capabilities here within Calvert County, expanding our palliative and supportive care, recruitment, retention, and continuous training of our hospice teams. We have all heard about the nursing shortage. We face it every day. We'd like to enhance the grief support to those families who are living with loss, and increase education, awareness, and understanding across the continuum for county residents. And finally, we want to improve the process to work as partners with our local healthcare agencies. Calvert Hospice has always enjoyed strong, dedicated community support, and we hope to maintain that same commitment and attention locally. The reality is that acquisition does mean change, and change can sometimes mean struggle. We're facing very real and truly impactful nursing shortage, and are forced to adapt to many changes mandated to us by Medicare, including the hospice reimbursement model. Simultaneously, we're experiencing the very same inflation pressures each of you and your local businesses are experiencing. We deal with significant supply chain issues and price increases beyond what we saw just a few short years ago. By joining together with other like-minded hospice agencies, we can achieve some economies of scale that will help not-for-profit hospices weather the storms ahead. I sincerely hope to have the opportunity to be back here in 2023 and share some of our success. I'm happy to answer any specific questions about the acquisition or about Hospice of the Chesapeake. But thank you again for your time today.
Questions? So, in Calvert, are there particular challenges that you've identified?
Some of the initial challenges that we've seen, particularly around the Burnett House, that we are doing an assessment of is the internet infrastructure. So we are getting some wiring done there to have that to get that wiring done. But the staffing shortages are really everywhere. If you think about the way nursing shortages work, we're competing with the hospital, who is competing with a nursing home, who's competing with an assisted living. We've always had a nursing shortage. It has been exacerbated by the pandemic, though. Those are the two biggest, I would say.
Mr. Guyway?
I just wanted to commend hospice on all the work. It goes without saying that the work that you guys do is God's work, and I personally have worked with hospice in the past. I have some dear close friends of ours that are currently working with hospice today. So thank you for all you guys do.
Thank you very much. And just so everybody does realize, hospice is a 6-month benefit that many families unfortunately do not access until within the last few weeks.
As Commissioner Gadway said, it is truly God's work. I mean, when you're talking to a family member and they say hospice was called, you know what it means. I mean, God love the folks that do it. I don't know how. I'm nowhere near strong enough a person. I'm just not. I mean, it's because they have to keep their head while the family's having probably the worst day it's ever had. And so it's, I've witnessed it firsthand a few times. God love you guys. I mean, there's not enough positive things to say. It really isn't. And so just thank you for all that you do. I mean, it's, Chris said it best. It's God's work. It really is.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So just like my fellow commissioners, I've been involved in cases and family members, and, you know, you're at your worst and you're challenged to deal with circumstances, and it's a blessing that you all come in and do the things that you do and take that load off of individual family members. So it's so important. And, you know, we clearly understand, you know, the situation that the pandemic has caused. And, you know, whenever I drive by the Burnett House, I always look over and think about the resource that's there that's not available any longer. So we did meet earlier and talk about trying to get the house reopened, and I think we had our staff do an assessment of the needs of the facility to get it up to what you need to have done to get it reopened. And I don't know that you have the resources to do that.
We are still working through that. I do believe there was about 7 people from the county that were over there this past Friday. But number one, because it is a beautiful building, it's in great shape, how to best utilize it within the community. So we have a few steps that we're going to work towards over the next few months. But as far as opening up to patients within the next few months, I don't foresee that happening, but that will be an ongoing assessment to see if we can get that resource that the county does have to be able to utilize it more effectively.
So is the limiting factor staffing or just getting the house back up to speed?
I would say it would be staffing. That's the reason I think they had to close it in the first place, was being able to staff those. Anytime you have facilities such as the Burnett House, they're extremely expensive to run, and it is 24/7 care that you need on hand. So, but we will continue to work on that.
Commissioners, our buildings and grounds staff, as he mentioned, were out there to do an inspection and identified the needs for a driveway, a new driveway, and expanded parking. One of the HVAC units needs to be better evaluated, and there's some maintenance work to be done. But I think overall, at least $80,000 for the driveway. So that's a big project. So I did want to let you know that.
So not to put any pressure on our community, we do have some very wonderful HVAC companies in the county, and based on the evaluation, it is minor work, but it's still work that needs to be
Correct.
done.
Correct.
So I think the estimate that I've seen is, they say at the max is $100,000, but,
Okay.
you know, it's probably, as Jennifer says, 60 or 80,000 at a minimum.
Yep.
And we could get that facility back up and running again, and then the next step would be to try to get staffing level, to get it back up to
Correct.
full operational capacity.
Correct.
And you said you also had paving work down there?
So,
Driveway?
yes, the foundation, it needs to be dug up, a new foundation for the driveway, and expansion for more spots.
And also, President Hans, we have some great general contractors and paving companies in the county as well.
So I think what we'd like to do is try to keep this process moving as quickly as possible.
Okay.
And because it is a great asset that certain families do miss, that opportunity. So I think what we could do is direct the administrator to see if we could come up with resources to at least get that facility back up to speed so that that's not an impediment to your schedule. And I understand we can't control the staffing, but we can control what we can control.
Yeah.
So my suggestion is to my fellow commissioners that we direct staff to find the resources to get this thing moving so that we're not waiting on. While we will accept donations and may solicit some donations, that we don't want that to hold us back.
Correct.
For an extended period of time, and that we try to get the resources together to get this project moving now.
Thank you very much.
But that's just a suggestion, because as president, I can't make motions.
Mr. President, to try and summarize, I would like to make a motion that we direct staff to help facilitate improvements at the Burnett House, whether it be by donation throughout the community or by some other means.
Mr. County Attorney.
Does sound like the board may be approving a budget adjustment,
It does,
if necessary.
if necessary.
Thank you.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second that we direct staff to proceed with making the necessary improvements to the Burnett House. And if that requires a budget adjustment, we will work through that process.
You're essentially authorizing, though it's beyond what the administrators generally authorized, you're authorizing them to do a budget adjustment up to $100,000 for this project.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any discussion on that motion? Commissioner Hart, you were out of the room. Did you hear?
I
the-
did,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you
very
all.
much.
Thank you, commissioners, very much.
Thank you again.
So we have one appointment. Ashley?
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. We have one appointment to the other Post-Employment Benefits Trust Fund Board of Trustees. Staff is requesting that you appoint Scott Johnson, Barbara Scora, and Sheldon Taylor as the 3 BOE representatives. And following that appointment, you will have 3 vacancies remaining for the citizen memberships.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion that we appoint Scott Johnson, Barbara Sakura, and Sheldon Taylor to the other Post-Employment Benefits Trust Fund Board of Trustees. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So next item on the agenda is a work session with Department of Economic Development, Director Oberg.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. My name is Julie Oberg, Director of Economic Development. So I'll go ahead and start with the memo. Background. Economic Development received funds from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, also known as ARPA, to provide an additional grant opportunity to the Calvert County business community. Since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, the department has been a pass-through for various business grants, both through federal and state funding. Once it was announced that the county would receive additional funding from ARPA, the department requested funds to create a grant to help the local business community. The new Calvert County Small Business Assistance Grant Fund is focused on the growth of our current small business community. Applicants will be able to request up to the maximum grant amount of $50,000. Allowable uses will include, but are not limited to, purchase of expanding and/or new inventory offerings, workforce training and development, capital improvement projects, hiring new employees, website development and/or improvements, business expansion costs, and other costs associated with investing into the growth of the business. The department plans to announce the grant program this week and will officially launch the program in early January. Interested business owners can visit choosecalvert.com/grant to learn more. The fiscal impact, there's no impact to the county budget. Conclusion recommendation, the grant program will officially open for businesses to submit applications in early January 2023. Thank you.
So what's the definition of a small business?
Small business is, it's from 2 to 100 employees.
So anybody in the county that has less than 100 employees qualifies.
Yes, and they need to be in operation for at least 2 years. So we're trying to do current businesses that have established track record.
So they're not really startups.
Correct.
They're established businesses with less than 100 employees.
Yes, sir.
That can contact you for a grant.
Absolutely. We're giving people time to get their paperwork in order. That's why we're announcing it now. And then the application period itself will open online in early January.
And when's it going to open and close?
January 3rd, no, excuse me. We'll start accepting applications beginning January 4th through January 31st.
And how much money do you have available?
Approximately $600,000.
Okay. I can't think of any other questions. Anybody?
If there's any other ones I can't answer, I do have Kiko Nash on the line with us. She's our federal grants coordinator, and she's spearheading this effort for us.
So the purpose of the presentation today is just to mainly make the public aware. It's really not a decision for us. It's just to make those businesses out there aware that there's an opportunity for some
Yes, sir.
assistance.
And we're looking forward to getting this money out to our business community.
And we'll do a much more outreach than just today's presentation.
Absolutely.
But just want to make it aware. All right. I don't see any other questions.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Absolutely. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Mr. County Attorney.
Is there anyone in the room that wishes to provide public comment? There's one caller on the line, last four digits 5557. Please press star 9 if you wish to make public comment. And they've not raised their hand. There's only a 1 or 2 second delay for the Zoom call, so no one wishes to provide comment.
Thank you. That brings us to Commissioner reports. Commissioner Hart?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to hope that everybody had a nice Halloween, safe Halloween, and as Commissioner Hans said earlier today, with Election Day coming up, there are many services. If you can't get out to vote, we have buses or polling places throughout the county, and with Veterans Day coming, just want to say once again thank you to the veterans. Without them, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have this opportunity to vote. It's an opportunity to voice who you believe should be in office and who represents you, and just very thankful for the process and that the veterans have given us that opportunity to be able to do that, and thank you.
Like Commissioner McConkey?
Yeah, I just want to, thank the lady that came in and spoke on domestic violence today. That took a lot of courage for her to do that. Out of all the people in this county, she's the only one that showed up to speak on it, so just wanted to thank her for coming in.
Absolutely. Commissioner Gadway?
Thank you, sir. Last Wednesday, I had the opportunity and pleasure and honor of hosting a couple individuals from the fire departments of Luxembourg and New Zealand for a tour of Prince Frederick Firehouse. So Tom Vanderklee of Luxembourg and Ken Mahone of New Zealand. We were able to tour Prince Frederick Volunteer Fire Department. Special thanks goes out to Pat Hassler, past Chief Delahaney, and Chief Willie Gray for the hospitality that they showed there. A lot of camaraderie was had, sharing of techniques, comparing gallons to liters of fire truck and apparatus equivalents. So good time was had by all. Commenting again on Veterans Day coming up on the 11th, I do want to remind everybody we will have the ceremony at 10:15 at the courthouse. I'm sure there will be others throughout the county as well. And touching on veteran small business owners, we had the proclamation on it, but one thing I would like to add also, if you're any employer throughout the county or the state or even the county government, I'd like to encourage all employers to be veteran hiring friendly, veteran friendly. There are certain attributes that veterans are going to bring, a lot of special attributes that veterans will bring to a company. But as we talked, there are also some things that the employees need to understand, that the veterans at times need a special reasonable accommodation. So I encourage all employers out there to be veteran friendly when it comes to their employment opportunities. And again, Election Day on Tuesday. I just want to remind everybody, we can't say it enough. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Weems?
I do not have anything today, sir.
I'm going to give you a minute because
Okay,
sometimes
if you're
there's
gonna
a
do it,
but.
I represented the board Saturday night, for Rick McCourt's retirement party. And I want to congratulate, Rick publicly and thank him for his service to Calvert County.
Thank you, Commissioner Weems. So I just want to mention two individuals, Frankie Wood of Huntingtown and our own Joyce Jett, who works here in the court system, had some medical issues lately and want to keep them in our prayers. I understand Joyce is back at work today, which is quite remarkable. But we want to wish her and Frankie all the best as they go through their issues. This coming Saturday at noon at the St. John Vianney Hall, the NAACP is having their annual luncheon, which I'm planning to attend. And also Saturday night, Farming for Hunger is having a fundraiser over at their facility in Benedict. So if you are free Saturday night and want to attend, I'm sure they'd love to have you there. And once again, just to remind everybody, Election Day is coming up. You can still early vote until November the 3rd, 7 to 8, and please vote. Doesn't matter who you vote for. I don't care who you vote for. Just show up and vote. And the last thing is Veterans Day is coming up on November the 11th, and I think we heard this morning there's going to be a ceremony here in the courthouse yard at 10:15 on Veterans Day, which I believe is a Friday. So come out and support our veterans. And today we had some very serious subjects, proclamations that were recognizing various organizations in our county that provide support for some very serious issues. We can't thank those people that volunteer to provide those services enough for what they do for our community. And if you're in a situation, no matter what that situation is, there is help. Please reach out. You know, we talk about some serious things here from time to time. And in our community, we have resources to help you. You just have to ask. And we will do whatever we can to help you. So with that, Commissioner Weems, do you have a motion for me?
I do, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion to recess to executive session pursuant to 3-305B1I to discuss the employment of employees over whom the board has jurisdiction.
Second.
Have a motion and a second that we move into executive session. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Everyone have a great day.